There's an old saying that goes, if you love something, set it free. If it comes back, it's yours.
That is certainly the case for a couple in Rockland who finally tied the knot in December. This was the day Arlene and Richard Rumney had been waiting for. The day they would finally say, I do, and become husband and wife.
I was some happy to see her coming down that aisle.
But to truly understand just how special this day was, you have to go back more than 40 years to the very beginning.
You've had this picture for years and years? Is this
Yes,
you two?
I had the picture of Dick and I. I always kept the picture for all these years.
Arlene and Richard first met in the 1980s and instantly connected. But after dating for a few years, the pair decided to go their separate ways. Richard would go on to marry someone else. Arlene would continue raising her family and working as a CNA. But when Richard's wife passed away in 2019, he couldn't help but think of Arlene and decided he would look for her.
The first thing I done was make a telephone call. And of course the phone number had been changed. Well, I knew where she lived in the trailer park, so I took a chance of, her being in the same place. I went up and knocked on the door, but there was nobody there, so I left a note on the windshield of the car that was in the yard. Well, I didn't hear anything. So I went down a couple more times to check, and it seemed so every time I went down, there was nobody there. So I more or less gave up.
Then, by chance, Richard saw Arlene's daughter at the local hospital.
We talked for a while, and she says, well, would you like the phone number of my mother? And I said, yes, I would.
I remembered him, and it was like, oh, this is going to make her day when I tell her that I've seen him.
When the two finally reconnected, Richard realized why his letters went unanswered.
Come to find out what had happened was she was in the same spot, okay, but they had put another street in, okay, for the last time I was down there, and I didn't know it, so I went down that street. So that's why I went to the wrong trailer.
You left the note at the wrong...
I left the note at the wrong trailer.
Together again, at last.
He's going to be 83 in April, and I turn 80 next month. And I never stopped thinking about him over all these years. And I guess I'm saying I always loved him. So I was happy that even in our elder years we could get together.
And then when you guys finally reconnected, did it feel like no time had passed, or, you know?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
I think we more or less picked right up from where we was before.
To be husband and wife.
Richard knew he wanted to marry Arlene. He also knew that might take some convincing.
I got to talk to her into retiring.
Yeah.
And I said, boy, I didn't expect that. I said, now I got something else to do. I got to get her to walk down the aisle. This is what I was saying to myself, So then that's when I started on my next quest. But it took me from April to December to do that.
She said yes. And on December 10th, 2022,
You may now kiss the bride.
the two officially became Mr. and Mrs. Rumney.
But I was happy to get down there and stand in front of the deck and go through the ceremony. Still takes some getting used to, though, to me, being by yourself so many years.
As tough as me walking down the aisle, it didn't bother me at all.
You'd had plenty of practice, that's why.
Yeah, right. I've had plenty of practice.
Their family is still in awe about what happened.
I actually had to see it to believe it, because I remember her saying so many times, I will never get married again, Lisa, ever. So I was like, okay, well, if she says she's going to do it, let's get this done.
I can remember after he called, she was like, sorry, Ma, but she was like a giddy teenager. Like, she was so excited. You come to her house and she's on the phone with Richard and she's talked to Richard. And, you know, like, she really was just head over heels. So I was ecstatic. I thought it was wonderful.
As for the happy couple,
And ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present to you for the first time, Mr. and Mrs. Richard Rumney.
they're looking forward to their greatest chapter yet.
We love one another to death, and we're going to spend the rest of our life together.
Until death do us part. We don't know how many years we have left when you get to be in your 80s. You're walking on thin ice. In my book.
Arlene always keeping it real. I love this story, and I got to give a shout out to her granddaughter Christy for sending us an email, because otherwise we never would have known that this love story existed.
You know, to some extent, we're all walking on thin ice.
Exactly.